Good evening, everyone. Good evening, friends. Welcome back to our sessions on Python for AI. Right. So let us quickly recap what we have covered in the previous session. Then we'll start the session for the day. So in the last class, we have understood looping statements. Right. So in Python, we have flow control statements. Under flow control statements, one of the type is looping statements. Right. What is the purpose of using looping statements? For which purpose do we use looping or iterative or repetitive statements? What is the purpose behind it? Why should we use a loop statement? Is the purpose of using looping statements is they help us to perform a certain operation repeatedly. We can perform an operation repeatedly for finite number of times till the condition becomes false. Okay, so a particular operation can be performed for finite number of times until the condition becomes false. Yes. So how many looping statements we have in Python? We have two types of looping statements, and they are for or for else loop, and the second one is while or while else loop. Yes, when I want to perform an operation for finite number of times, I can go and use loop statement. Okay, so until the condition that gets false, this particular operation will keep on executing. Then we started understanding for loop. So for is also called as for else loop. What is the syntax for loop? What is the syntax for loop? Syntax of for loop is for keyword followed by variable name. Okay, then in keyword, and next to it we'll have iterable object. What is an iterable object? An object which contains multiple elements followed by indentation symbol. Okay, then we'll have the block of statements. Okay, we'll have block of statements within the loop. The same syntax, I can just combine it with else block to form a for else loop. Okay, for loop is also called as for else loop. So I can have an else block additionally. So this else block is optional. It's not mandatory that we have to every time use else block. Right? Yes. So we have also probably discussed a few examples, few use cases. So let us quickly go back and let us get started from where we have stopped yesterday. Right? Yes. So what are we doing in line number 3331? So this is a new Python program. Okay. For reading the values of a list object and displaying them. Excuse me. Okay. So in line number 3331, we are using two functions, int and input function. So input of message function is what I'm using. So input function will accept the data from the keyword by displaying this message. Enter how many values you have will be displayed to the user. Okay. And the user will give a value that gets stored by default in str type. Str data type will be used to store the data, to store the value that we get from the end user. Right. Then this input function post accepting the value, storing the value in the str type, it gets converted to int type. How? Int function is what it is using here. It uses int function and the value gets converted to int type. And finally, the value gets stored in object n. Right? So let me execute this line number 3331 and see what happens. So it is asking us, enter how many values you have. You would like to have. So I'm just keeping it as 5. Okay, I'm just passing the value for the n. And you see, the moment I have clicked on enter, it is storing 5 in n. Then next to it, what do we have? What do we have in the next line? In the next line, we have a if else statement. A if else statement is being used, right? So what is the syntax for if else? If keyword followed by the test condition, then indentation symbol and the block of statements. So it will check for the condition. Is the condition holding true here? No, the condition is not holding true. What does the condition say? The condition says if the value is less than or equals to 0. Okay, is 5 less than 0? No. Is 5 equals to 0? No. So, as the condition is not holding true, it does not enter the block of statement. Right? So it just skips the if block and enters else block. It enters else block and then it starts executing line by line. Initially, what's happening in line 3335? In line number 3335, it is creating an empty list object. Yes, it is going to create an empty list object where I'm using list function. Okay, so this creates an empty list object and that gets stored in LST. Next to it, I have for loop. Okay, so we are using a for loop with a combination of else block. So the syntax is for variable name in an iterable object is range of 1 comma n plus 1 will be an iterable object. Yes, it will be an iterable object. Okay, where it will be range of 1 comma. What is the value that we have passed for n? It is 5. So 5 plus 1 will be 6. 5 plus 1 will be 6. So what will be the output for range of 1 comma 6? What will be the output for range of 1 comma 6? 1, 2, 3, so on till 5. Yes. So this will be the output for range of 1 comma 6. right? Then I takes each and every value from the range object. Okay, from the iteral object, I takes each and every value. Initially, I takes 1. I takes 1. Then it starts executing the block of statements. What it is going to print? In the next line, we are using an input function. Okay, so this particular input function, we take the I value and it just enters the value. Okay, it is performing the formatting and that value will be stored in VAL, right? And finally, the value gets appended to LST, the object, empty list object LST. Clear? So once this for loop gets completed for each and every value of I, okay, so it is asking a value. Once if we execute this if else statement in which we have the for loop, okay, so it asks the end user, it will ask the end user to give 5 values and these 5 values will get appended. Yes. Okay. So what does an append function does? Where did we discuss append? Append function. Where did we discuss append? We have discussed append function in the topic of list. And the append function helps us to add the elements to the existing list object by default at the last. Clear? Yes. So each and every value, it get appended to the LST object, that is list object. So all the 5 values that end user passes, all these 5 values get appended to the list object. One by one after the other. And finally, the else block gets executed in which it will print, hyphens followed by the list of elements. Okay. So each and every, it's nothing but the LST. LST is a list object. So the list of elements is equals to list object gets printed. And one more print statement we have where it is going to print hyphens. It will just print hyphens. That's it. So I hope it's clear. Now let me execute the entire if else statement. Let me do it. So if you see in the console, it is asking us the values. Enter value 1. So let me keep it as 20. Enter value 2. Let me keep it as 30. Value 3. NEUT. Then value 4. It is asking us to enter value 4. So I'll keep it as 23.5. Value 5. I'll just keep it as true. And then I'm going to click on enter. Did it execute? Yes, it have executed where I'm going to, make a list object. Okay, so this particular program helps us to read the values of the list and finally it is helping us to display the values that we have in the list object. And let me open the object as well. We have passed integers, right? See, the moment I have opened this list object, I see all the values, they are stored in str type. 20 should be an int type. I mean, 20, not to store 20 in the memory, int type has to be used. For 30 also. Okay, then coming to 23.5, float type has to be used. For 2, it has to use bool. But why it is str type, my friends? Why it is str? Just have a quick, go through the code again, once again. Why it is storing all the elements in str type is the question. What is the reason behind it? Everyone has to respond, my friends. Keep going. Good. One thing behind it is, why each and every element is getting stored using str type is because of input function. Input function is what we are using. So by default, input function stores the data. Whatever the data it receives from the keyboard will be stored using str type. Very important. Clear? So any questions regarding this particular program? So assuming no questions, let us go to the next program. And this particular program is, to decide whether the given number is prime or not. Whether the given number is prime or not. Right. Now, let us start understanding this Python program. We are using int and input functions. Both the functions we are using here, right? So when we execute line number 3345, input of message function gets executed where it reads the data from the keyboard. Okay, so let me execute it. You see, it is asking us to enter a number. So let us check for number 10. Is 10 a prime number? What do you say, guys? Is 10 a prime number or not? First of all, what do you mean by a prime number? What do you mean by a prime number? Ten is not a prime number. Good. But what do you mean by a prime number in general? Very good. A number which is divisible by 1 and itself. A number which is divisible by 1 and itself is called a prime number. Anyhow, we know that 10 is not a prime number. Okay, so let us check whether our code is giving the right output or not. For that, I am trying to build a logic using if-else statements in which a for loop is being used. I'm using a for loop. Right. So let me start executing the lines. So initially we have a if else if block with a condition. What does the condition say? The condition says if the value that whatever the value that the end user passes, if it is less than or equals to 1, okay, if this condition holds true, then it prints that particular number is invalid input. It prints the number that is given is an invalid input will be printed. But is the condition holding true for our case? No, 10 is not less than or equals to 1. Now, it skips the if block and it comes to else block. It comes to else block. So it starts executing line by line. Initially, we are storing a bool value false in a variable result. Then I'm going to start my for loop. What does the loop says? For I in range of 2, n. So I takes each and every value between the range of 2, n. So what will be the range? 2, 10. What is range of 2, 10? What is output for range of 2, 10? Range of 2, 10, the output will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have discussed all the examples in range data type. Under sequence category data types, we have discussed this range type, right? So range of 2, 10 will return us the values from 2 till 9. Then I takes each and every value starting from 2. I takes each and every value in this sequence starting from 2. Inside the for loop, we have a simple if condition. What does the condition says? If n percentage I is equals to 0, it has to, if the condition holds true, it will enter the block of statements. It enters the if block and executes the block of statements. Clear? And is it just going to, what if the condition is true? What if the condition is true here? After entering the if statement, if block, the value of result becomes true. And break, we have a control statement, break, which helps us to terminate the loop. Whatever might be the position, at the position, it is going to terminate the loop, where the rest of the values will not be assigned for I. Next to it, we have if else. Again, we have a if else statement, right? So I'll take for each and every value. Let us have a look for the condition as well. Initially, what is the value of our n? N is 10. The n value that we have is 10. So I takes initially 2. I takes 2. I takes 2. Okay. Then it starts checking for the condition. 10. What is the operator? What kind of operator is this percentage? What kind of operator is this percentage? Percentage I is equals to 0. If this is true, then it enters the It executes the block of statements. So what kind of operator is this percentage? It is a modulus operator. It is a modulo operator. Good. We are using a modulo operator. And what about this double equals to? It is an relational operator. So a modulus operator will return us only the remainder. Am I right? Only the remainder will be returned. And if the remainder is 0, okay, if the remainder is 0, then we'll have the condition holding true. Is it true in case of 2? In case of 10, where I'm going to take the I value as 2, so the condition is holding true? Yes. So it enters the if block and executes the block of statements where the result value will be true, and then it breaks. It breaks immediately. This loop will get break and it executes the if else statement. If result, what is the value for result? Now it's true. As the condition is holding true, again, it enters the if block and it prints the element, whatever the value that we have passed is not prime. It prints 10 is not prime. Am I right or wrong? Is this what happens? 10 is not prime gets printed. Let me execute. I'm going to execute this if else statement along with the for loop. I see the same result. 10 is not prime number. It's not a prime number because we have, 10 is divisible by many other numbers. 2, 5. Okay, so 10 is not a prime number. A number which is divisible by 1 and itself will be a prime number. So let us try whether it is giving the output, the right output in the case of 7. Let me give the number as 7. I'll give the number as 7. Now, what will be the output, my friends? If I take the same code, what will be the output? What will be the output in the case of 7? So initially it checks for the condition in the if block. So this condition is not holding true. It goes to the else block. Okay. Then it takes the value. I takes the value for range of 2, 7. So that means from 2 till 6. Then 7 modulo operator followed by the I value 2. In this way, it will check for all the values. For each and every value of I, it will check the condition. In none of the conditions it will be holding true. So obviously, the result value will be false as it is. So even this condition also doesn't hold true. It goes to else block and prints 7 is prime. It is very simple. I'm just using if else statements along with combination of, for loop. You see, 7 is the prime number gets executed. 7 is prime will be the output. Clear? So these are the primary, basic programs that we should be aware of. A prime number, a multiplication table, okay? Then printing all the elements present in a list, any iterable object, whatever it might be. So all these are a few basic programs in Python that one has to be aware of. Yes, these are very basic, and we should be able to write the logic at any time. Clear? Now, shall we go to the next topic? It is else or while else loop. It is else or while else loop. I'll go back. Let us discuss about the syntax for while. Okay. Then we'll work out on a few examples. Right? So the next looping statement in Python is while or while else. It is while or while else. Let us understand the syntax of while loop. The syntax for while loop is while keyword followed by the test condition. Very simple, right? Like how we have for if block, if statement. In the same way, while keyword followed by the test condition, then indentation symbol and the block of statements followed by the other statements in program. Clear? So very simple. The syntax is very simple. So we can also add an optional block. It is else block. Else block can be added as an optional block to the while. So to the same syntax, we can add a else block in which we'll have block of statements for else block. And this is optional. This is not mandatory. Let us quickly understand, the syntax, whatever we have discussed, how it is going to work. Okay. And what are the keywords that we have in this syntax? We'll understand, my friends. In this particular syntax, we have while and else as the keywords. Yes. So initially, the test condition will be evaluated. Whatever the test condition that we have, this gets evaluated first. And if the test condition holds true, if this holds true, then the PVM, Python virtual machine, will execute the block of statements. It executes the block of statements. And again, it will check the condition. The same condition will be checked once again. Okay. And if it is holding true, in the same way, it will execute the block of statements for one more time. So this happens for multiple times, n number of times, till the condition becomes false. Till this particular condition becomes false, every time, at each and every time, if the test condition is holding true, it will execute the block of statements. Keep on going. Right? But if the condition, if it is holding false, at some point of time, it will stop. It will not enter the while block. It will not execute the block of statements. Immediately it goes to the else block. And then it starts executing the block of statements that we have in else block. So this is what happens. same. The working principle is same, but since since it is part of loop statement, it is going to execute for finite number of times. Okay, so it keeps on executing the block of statements repeatedly. If the condition is holding true, yes, it goes and executes the block of statements for multiple times. I hope it's clear. So let us work on a few examples under else block. Right. So a very simple example is what we have over here, friends. Okay. So this particular Python program, it is going to allow the voter. It is going to allow the voter as eligible where the age lies between 18 and 100. So kind of basic program. And this is going to check whether the user is eligible to vote or not in our country. So we know that if a person has reached 18, they can cast the vote, right? So what we have done is, we just made the condition between 18 to 100 years. Okay. So for that reason, I'm going to use while loop. So I'll start with the while loop. Then the condition is always, again, I just kept it as true. Okay. Followed by the indentation symbol. Then next to it, we have age. So age is a variable which is going to capture the input. Whatever the age that you get from of the citizen, we are going to get. So that is getting captured by age variable. So the age of the citizen initially, input function will capture the citizen age in str type. And this value will get converted to int. Because of int function, the value gets converted to int type data. And finally, that gets stored in age variable. And followed by, we have a simple if statement. And this simple if statement has, what kind of operator are we using, friends, here? What is this operator? This is a logical operator and it is AND, logical AND. So when does a logical AND operator returns true? Logical AND operator returns true if both the conditions hold true. Again, I'll come back to condition 1 and condition 2. What kind of operators are we using here in condition 1 and 2? They are relational operators and both of them are relational expressions. The purpose of using logical operators is they help us to combine relational expressions. Right? So if the age value of the citizen, if it is less than or equals to 18, and if the age value, if it is greater than or equals to 100, if both the values hold true, then, it enters the if block where it says break. We just had only a single block of statement inside this simple if statement. It is break. Break statement helps us to break the loop. The current loop, it gets break and it executes the other statements in the program. So if the conditions, if both the conditions, if they hold true, then obviously, you know, it is going to enter the if statement. Right. So let me execute and print it, print the results. So it is under execution. It is asking us to enter the age of the citizen. Okay. So I'm passing a value for citizen age as 25. 25. Okay. So let me click on enter. It got executed or not? Your age is 25 and your citizen is eligible to vote. It got printed. Yes. A very simple example to understand how while loop works. Yes. Then the second example we have already executed, okay, using for loop. Using for loop, you remember printing all the elements, all the values of a list. So this time you guys have to respond. So what are we doing in line number 3369? 3369. Creating a list object of size 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just creating a list object of size 6 and the values are 10, 20, Python, Java, true and 34.56. Then in the next statement, the next line of code, I'm going to use print function to display a message, to print a message to the console. And it says by using while loop, the same code, the same program we have done using for loop. And this is using while loop. Done. And we are also going to print hyphens. So just printing hyphens as is. Now let us, build our while loop. I'm going to use a while loop to print all the elements that we have in the list object. For that, I'm going to take a variable I where I'm going to store 0 in it. Just to, create the condition, I took a variable I and I'm storing 0 inside it. Now I'll start my while loop. While keyword followed by condition. While keyword followed by the test condition. What does the test condition says? I less than length of LST. I value if it is less than length of the list object. Is it less than the length of list object? Yes. 0 is less than 6 because length of LST is 6. So 0 is less than 6. Is it true or false? Is it true or false? It is true. 0 is less than 6. So obviously it will enter the while loop and it starts printing. It starts executing the block of statements. Line number 3374 and 3375 gets executed. So in 3374, What are we doing? We are just printing the value LST of 0. Initially, I take 0, right? So LST of 0 will be 10. What concept it is? How are we able to bring it? Using indexing. What do you mean by indexing, my friends? Indexing means accessing single values from the object is called indexing. Slicing is accessing multiple values, a group of values, right? So LST of 0 will return as 10 and the value gets formatted at this position, which gets printed along with the tab space. Tab space, then the element gets printed. Followed by, we are also, you know, we are also increasing the value for I. Right? So I gets incremented with 1 and 0 plus 1 will be 1. 0 plus 1 will be 1. So I value gets updated to 1. Again, it will check for the condition 1 less than 6. True. Then LST of 1 will be 20. So the value 20 will be printed along with the tab space. I value is getting incremented again by 1. So 1 plus 1 will be 2. So I value now it got updated to 2. Then it checks for the condition again. 2 less than 6. Yes, it is holding true. Then it enters again the loop. It prints the element that we have at index 2. That is Python. Tab space along with Python gets printed. In this way, it is going to print all the elements, all the values that we have in the list object. 10, 20, Python, Java, true, 34.56 gets printed one by one. Once after executing, once after printing all the elements, what will be the value for I? What will be the value for I? The I value will be 6. So 6 less than 6. Is the condition true? No, the condition is false. 6 is not less than 6. 6 is equals to 6. Right? As the condition is not satisfying, it executes it stops the loop and comes out of it and prints line number 3376, where it will print hyphens. So let me execute. I'm going to execute the while loop. Just have a look, my friends. Is this the output that we have discussed? Yes. All the elements of the list object got printed one by one. So all of them got printed. Totally 6 values, 6 elements. Yes. Along with the hyphens. Done. So I hope you got a good picture, good understanding about while loop. Right? Yes. Now let us go to the next program where I'm going to print the characters. Okay. So we are going to print each and every character of Next Era Unitech. Did we discuss this program? Yes, we have discussed this program as part of for loop. Using for loop, we have printed each and every character present in Nextera Unitech. Okay. So, in the same way, I'm going to print all the characters of Nextera Unitech using while loop. Right? Yes. So let us get started. Storing Nextera Unitech. Okay. Within the quotations. So obviously str type will be used. So in S, it is going to store Nextera Unitech. It's stored Nextera Unitech. Then followed by a print statement where it is going to print by using while loop. Then print function again where it will print hyphens. We have a series of hyphens that got printed. Right. Now, in the same way, I'm going to take value 0 to I to define my test condition. In order to have the condition as part of the while loop, I'm going to store value 0 in I. I'm going to store value 0 in I. Now, the while loop gets started. While keyword followed by the condition. What does the condition says? I less than length of S, length function of S. What is the length of S? It is 15. In total, we have 15 characters. Right? In Nextera Unitech. So, is the condition holding true? Yes, obviously. 0 less than 15. True. It enters the loop and it executes block of statements where it will print each and every character. It will print each and every character, and also the I value is getting incremented by 1. The same logic, my friends. Okay. But additionally, there is a small change with respect to the code. So can you guess what will be the output in this case? What will be the output? Okay. It is going to, no, the I value is going to increment by 1. That's fine. I am asking about the output. What will be the output? Just go for a wild guess. What will be the output? Okay. So probably I'll raise a question over here. Will all the characters get printed in same line or, multiple lines? Is it going to print each and every character of Nextera Unitech in multiple lines like this or in a single line? Is the question. What is your response? Okay, okay. Keep going. So many of my friends says multiple lines, right? But the answer is same line. Within a same line, all the characters of Nextera Unitech, each and every character gets printed. Why? Do you see the difference between line number 3374 and 3383? What makes the difference? Good, good. Not only backslash t, my friend, not because of backslash t, but what is the difference? Even though if I use backslash t is only a while character for tab space. That is not actually making to print all the values, all the characters of Nextera Unitech in a single line. What is the other difference? And good. So do you have any parameter called end in line number 3374? No. But I see a value for end. Okay, this is called parameter. And what is a parameter? We'll understand. No issues. For time being, a function will have parameter inside it. Okay. So end is a parameter, one of the parameter for print function. So are we passing any value for end in line number 3374? No. So that means there is a default value for the end parameter. And because of that, we were able, it is actually giving us the output. But I don't want to go with the default value for parameter end. So I'm changing it where I'm giving the value for end as 2 spaces. You see, 1, 2. So that means now let us discuss about this end parameter. In general, print function has parameter called end, and this end parameter takes a default value of backslash n. Backslash n. Yes, it's an optional parameter. So what is the meaning for backslash n? What do you mean by backslash n? Guys, what do you mean by backslash n? Backslash n represents a new line character. So, as we are not passing backslash n here, each and every value present in the list got printed in new line. But here, I don't want to take this backslash n for n. Instead of going with backslash n, it has to print all the characters of Nextera Unitech by, having a 2 spaces. So that is the value that we are passing for n. It's a new line. Right? So the same code, but just there is a change with respect to the end parameter that we have in function. So what exactly is this parameter and all we'll discuss in the next topic. Okay, post discussing loops. So shall I execute the for loop? So I'm going to execute the for loop. Just have a look on the output. You see, within the same line, you have all the characters of Nextera Unitech getting printed. This is because of end parameter in function print. This is because of function. In function print, we have end parameter. And by default, it takes backslash n as the value, the default value, which represents a new line. Clear? Right. Shall we also give a try? by not passing the end value, not giving a value for end? Yes, let's give a try, my friends. Okay, so I'm going to execute the same function again, the same program again. You see, each and every character, it got printed in new line, one after the other. Focus on the console. So that makes the difference. Right. Now, the next example, okay, is a Python program for displaying a multiplication table for a given number, positive number, using while loop. The same program we have discussed using for loop. Yes. So this particular program is using while loop. So initially using int and input functions where it accepts the number. So let me give the number as 20. Okay. Then it checks for the condition that we have in the if statement. The condition is not true here. So it obviously goes to the else block and prints each and every, it executes line by line. Prints hyphens followed by printing a message where it prints multiplication table for 20. Then prints hyphens again followed by our while loop. While else loop. So I'll just give you a minute time. Okay. So try to understand the logic. I'm using the concept of while else loop, right? Okay. So understand the code from here. It's very simple. In while loop, as we have the condition, for that purpose, I'm using this variable I. Initially, I'm assigning a value for I. Yes. So this will enter the while loop and checks for the condition 1 less than or equals to 10. Yes, 1 is obviously less than 10. So the condition is holding true. It executes line number 3398 where it prints a tab space. Then the value of n gets formatted, capital X. Then the value of I gets formatted is equals to, and in the final place, the product of n and I gets formatted. So here you will get the output as 20 cross 1 is equals to 20. 20 cross 1 is equals to 20. Then in the next line, the value of I is getting updated. It gets incremented by 1. So 1 plus 1 will be 2. 1 plus 1 will be 2. Again, it checks for the condition and it executes. So till where the condition will hold true, friends? Till which condition, till which number of I, the condition will hold true. Till which number? Till 10. Okay. So after executing 10, the I value will become 11. So 11 less than or equals to 10, the condition will become false. It enters the else block and it prints hyphens. So let me execute this entire if else statement along with while loop. Did we get a multiplication table for 20? Yes. Can I do it for any number? Yes, I can get a multiplication table for any number, whatever might be the number. We are not worried about it. Until unless the number is positive, we will see this kind of output. But if the number is less than 0 or if it is 0, it just prints, the number is invalid input. Same, whatever we have discussed using for loop, we are discussing the same using while loop. Clear? Right. Then the next program is for finding the sum of n natural numbers. Okay. So what are natural numbers? Friends, what are natural numbers? Can you define what is a natural number? The numbers which start with 1. Natural numbers are the numbers, the positive numbers which start from 1 till infinity. Okay, good. Anyways, so this particular program, helps us to find the sum of n natural numbers. Okay, if you say 50, the sum of first 50 natural numbers can be returned when we use this Python program. So let us understand what is the logic that we have tried to build. Right. So initially it is asking us, so enter how many natural numbers sum you want to find. Okay, I'm using input function and in function together. So let me say I want to get the sum of first 5 natural numbers. Sum of first 5 natural numbers. So tell me what should be the output. Before I execute the code, take the first 5 natural numbers and tell me the sum of first 5 natural numbers. What should be the output? The output should be 15. Why 15? What are the first 5 natural numbers we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you add all of these numbers, the output will be 15. So when I execute this code, the output should be 15. Right. So initially, I'm coming with the I'm coming with the if block, okay, where I have the condition. The condition says if the value of n is less than or equals to 0, it prints the number is invalid input. Anyhow, the condition is not holding true as 5 is not less than or equals to 0. So it goes to the else block. It goes to the else block. And then we are performing multi-line assignment. Do you remember multi-line assignment? Yes, within a single line, multiple variables we can assign the values for multiple variables. We have discussed as part of assignment operator. So I takes the value of 1 and 0 gets stored to S. S stores 0. Right. Then the same way it will print hyphens, followed by it will print natural numbers within percentage %D. Percentage %D stands for digit. So while character representing digits, where the value of n gets formatted, so the output will be natural numbers within 5. Okay, because n value is 5, right? N is holding the value of 5 now. Then it prints hyphens again, followed by our while loop. Followed by our while loop. So in the while loop, I have the condition as if I less than or equals to n. What is the value for I? It is 1. 1 less than or equals to n, where n takes 5. So the condition is holding true. It executes the block of statements for while, where it prints, the value of I. What is the value? It is 1. It is 1. 1 gets printed. Then what's happening to the value of S? The value of S is getting incremented. So S plus I gets stored in S. So it is 0 plus 1, where the output will be 1 again. In the next line, we are also updating the value of I with 1. So for the first iteration, I value will be 2. In this way, I takes the values after the updation and it checks for the condition. So till where the condition gets true, till 5. Till the value of I being 5, the condition will hold true and it prints 5. The value of S gets updated by this way, and in the next iteration, I becomes 6, where the condition will be false. The condition will be false. Then it just simply goes to the else block. It prints hyphens, followed by printing the sum, where it got stored in S. The sum of all these natural numbers, it got stored in S. So it will print the sum and followed by hyphens. So let me execute this entire if-else block in which we have the while loop. Natural numbers within 5. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which got printed from this line. Okay, it is printing the numbers. And sum is 15, which got printed from line number 3418. Making sense? So in this fashion, I can get the natural numbers and the sum of first n numbers using this Python program. Using this program, I can get the output. Shall we go to the next one? Right. Let us go to the next program. This program is for generating the numbers from 1 to n. Okay. Where the number is positive. Okay. Where the value of n is positive. The same code, but not only for the natural numbers. Right. So let us get started, guys. So the same code, but what do you see the difference? The previous one is also returning us the sum of the numbers. But here, it is not returning us the sum of the numbers. It just returns only the numbers from 1 to n. Whatever the n value that you pass, till the n value, the numbers will be written from 1 till n. The same code. Just removed s. From the same code, I have removed s. And that is the reason you don't see the sum in the picture. Anyways, I'll do it for you one more time. Using int and input function to read the data from the keyboard, where the data gets converted to int type. Since we are using int function, I'm taking the same value 5 again. Done. Value 5 is what we are given. It checks for the condition. The condition is false. It is false here. In case of if condition, the condition is false. So it goes to the else block and it starts executing line by line, where it prints hyphens, followed by printing numbers within 5, then printing hyphens, and we are initializing the loop using an variable I is equals to 1, right? Then we have the while loop. Yes. The while loop says if the value of I less than or equal to n, the condition is this true? Yes, 1 less than or equals to 5. It executes the block of statements till I value becoming 6. If the I value becomes 6, the condition will be false and the loop terminates. The loop stops. It goes to the else block and prints all the lines, where it prints hyphens, then it prints a message, which is I am from else block, then it also prints hyphens. A very simple one. If you understand the previous case, this is not a tough one, right? So this particular Python program helps us to print only the numbers from 1 till n. Let me do it. So the output will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clear? Now, let me go to the next program. So what is the difference that you have seen? This particular program is again to generate numbers from 1 till n, but in the reverse direction. N to 1. The numbers will be generated from n to 1 numbers, where number n is positive. The same concept, but printing the numbers in reverse direction. N till 1. So what logic did we change? Let us focus. I'm using if-else statements. The condition is same in the if block. So obviously the condition will be false. If I pass a value for n is 5, the condition will be false under the if statement. It goes to the else block and it prints the hyphens followed by a message, where it performs formatting. Numbers within n in reverse order 5 gets printed, and it also prints hyphens. Okay, and next to it, we are going to start our while loop. Okay. Right. So where I'm using while loop, the condition says n less than 0. If the value of n, if it is greater than 0, my bad, if the condition is holding true, it prints the number, then the value of n getting updated. Where we are decreasing the value of n. So initially n is 5. 5 gets printed to the console. Then the value of n gets updated to 4. In this way, it prints all the values till 1. Okay. And finally, the n value becomes 0, where the condition will be false. It comes out of the while loop and it goes to else block and prints hyphens. Very simple. Yes. So let me execute. The output will be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But all these numbers in 5 different lines. 5 different lines. How can I get this output in a single line? All the numbers. How can I get all these numbers n to 1 numbers in one single line? Just give a try, friends. How can I do it? What changes should be implemented within the code? Instead of getting all the numbers in multiple lines, what if I want all the numbers in a single line? Good. I have to use n parameter. N parameter by default takes \n. Yes, if you change the value for n parameter in the print function, all the numbers from 5 till 1 will be returned in the same line. Then, one more program. This particular program is going to accept the number and it is also going to find the sum of the digits. Whatever the number that you pass, it takes the number. So if you pass 100, okay, so 100 have 3 digits, 100. So it will return the sum of the digits. So 1 plus 0 plus 1, it will be 1. So it returns 1. For that, we are building the logic, my friends. Right? Yes. So I'm using int and input function to accept the number. So let me give a number first of all. I'll give the number as 55. Or let me take a very simple example, 50. Right. So is the number less than 0 or equals to 0? No. So as the condition is holding false, it does not enter the if block. It skips the if block and goes to else block. Within the else block, we have a while loop. Right? We have a while loop. And we are initializing the loop by storing a value 0 in S. The variable S. Then I have the loop getting started while keyword followed by the condition. What does the condition say? N value 50 greater than 0. Yes, it is true. So it enters the while block. Okay. And it prints, it executes all the statements. All the block of statements gets executed. So what is the first statement as? N percentage 10. 50 modulo 10. What will be the remainder? 0. So 0 will be stored in D. This is modulo operator, which returns remainder. Right. Then next to it, we are using S. Initial S value is 0 again. D value is also 0. So 0 plus 0 is 0 again. Done. But in the third line, we have N floor division 10. We have N floor division 10. Yes. So floor division operator returns the floor value. So what will be the output? It will be 5. which gets stored in N again. Which gets stored in N. Is it going to execute again? Yes. It will execute again as the condition is holding true. 5 greater than 0? Yes. Then it performs the modulus operator. 5 modulo 10. A smaller number getting divided by a larger number, which returns the smaller number again. So the output will be 5. 5 plus 0 is 5. And 5 modulus of, it's not modulus, it is floor division. So 5 floor division 10 will be 0. Will be 0 and the condition is false. It goes to the else block and prints the sum of digits. It prints the sum of digits as by formatting the value of S. What value do we have in S? It is 5. So in this way, it is going to print the sum of the digits of a number. Let me execute. Is the output 5? It is 5. Sum of digits is equals to 5 will be written as output. Let me do one thing. I'll execute the same program one more time. Okay, so it is asking me to enter the number. So let me give 555. What will be the output, my friends? What will be the output if I pass a number like 555? The output should be 15. So you can also work on the same logic. Okay, you can execute the same logic where the output will be 15. 5 plus 5 plus 5, the output will be 15. Right? Yes. So now let me take your questions. Probably we'll continue our session from the next day. Okay. So your questions related to internship as well as the questions that we have for this day. Even the non-technical questions are accepted. The question that I see is, how am I supposed to, view the responses for the daily assignments? Am I right? Is this your question? On daily basis, as part of internship, you are going to have assignments. And how are you supposed to give your responses for each and every question? Right? So first of all, download the assignment. Download the assignment and you have the questions in the order one by one. Let me do one thing. Friends, I'm helping out. So this is the question that was raised by our friends. Okay. How are we supposed to answer the questions that are part of the assignments? Initially, you have to download this. You have to download the assignment and for each and every question, you will have 4 options. Okay. So once after going through the question, you will get the answer. Okay. So just down to the question, click on enter and give your answer. The option name. If the answer is A, keep it as answer A or answer B, answer C or answer D, whatever it might be. Okay. Give your answers. Same for all the questions. So that will be your way of approach for completing your assignments. Once if you do the same for both the assignments, you have to open this Google form and submit your assignments by EOD. Implement the same for Python, SQL, Power BI, whatever might be the assignment. In some cases, probably from tomorrow, you will have a basic programs as well. Okay. So down to the question, you can keep your code. Python program can be, pasted down to the question. But ensure that the code is correct. If it is wrong, obviously, as we have discussed, your performance will be evaluated. If you are doing it well, yes, obviously you'll be promoted to the project phase and you'll be working on a project. Okay. If you are not doing it well, you'll also work on the learning pattern, learning phase once again. So be cautious. And I hope this is very clear. Clear? How to give your responses for each and every question? Yep. Any other questions for the day? Yeah. See, you can be part of the Google Classroom. First of all, my friend, are you part of WhatsApp channel? Next to the Unitech WhatsApp channel. Ensure that you are part of WhatsApp channel. So you'll get all the updates, okay, in the WhatsApp channel only. So once after being part of WhatsApp channel, you should also ensure that you are part of Google Classroom. In Google Classroom, you'll have the daily postings done. Each and every day, you'll get the postings where you are supposed to go through the sessions initially, followed by you have to do the assignments. Once after completing your assignments, you can submit them in the Google form. That is also accepted. But it is better if you do both the assignments in a single time. If you are able to submit both the assignments in a single time, that would be best. Anyhow, your responses will be, recorded, my friends. No worries, no issues. Even that is also accepted. Any other questions related to internship? The ongoing free internship that Nextera Unitech is providing. No, see, that's what I'm telling. If you are able to submit both the documents at a single time, that is the best practice. That is well appreciated. Okay. If you are unable to do so, then submit the assignments individually. Every day, each and every day you have to submit. That is the deadline. If you are posting the assignments morning, by EOD you have to submit. There is no kind of deadline. Each and every day, by end of the day, you have to submit. If you fail to do so, you will, as we have discussed, each and everything is getting tracked. You will be removed from the internship. Okay, so that is accepted. Fine. You should be part of Google Classroom. I hope many of our friends are part of Google Classrooms, right? Any other questions? Right. So it's already done, my friend. You can go back to the previous sessions where I have explained how this internship works. Okay. Just go back to the yesterday's session as well as day before yesterday's session where the internship was explained clearly. Okay. I have elaborated and explained it well. Just go back to the sessions. That is what I'm telling. You need to give your answers in the same document. Whatever the Word documents that you are downloading, okay, from the classroom, use them to give your answers as well. I hope it's clear now. Right? Any other questions? Yes, you will be in trouble. Okay, if you are unable to do it, and if you come up with a genuine reason, it will be accepted. But you know, in general, will not accept any kind of stories, my friends. Okay, as we are providing these internships free, you have to, you should have a bit seriousness as part of this internship and ensure that you are submitting your assignments on daily basis. Say if you come up with some stories, probably that will not be accepted. No. Any other questions? Sure. We'll let you know when you are connecting on, interactive sessions will be happening on every weekend. Okay, on every Friday probably, where we'll be connecting for at least an hour and we'll be discussing the progress. How is your learning? Okay, how is the learning journey going on? We'll be discussing and we'll be interacting. That's fine. Right? Okay. Right. If you feel that the session went well, and if you find that if you have grabbed enough content from this particular session, just don't forget to hit on the like button and also do share across these sessions among your connections. Okay. So the feedback link has been provided. So do share your valuable feedback. We'll try to implement, we'll enhance our sessions in future as well. Thank you so much, guys, for joining and making this session Amazing. Thank you so much once again. That's all for the day. Again, we'll meet in the next session. Until then, take care. Have a great day. Signing off.